Hello everyone and welcome to the explanation of a new problem. So in this video, we are going to discuss the question number 4 of Lead Code Contest 243. And the question is minimum skips to arrive at meeting on time. So as you can see, this has an immensely long description. Let's not focus on it. I'll condense it down for you guys, what the problem is. So you want to go to your office and there's like a very important meeting for you. And there are like some number of roads that you have to travel. And the distance of those roads have been given to you in the form of an array. So if this array has three values, so this means that you have to cross three roads to reach your meeting, right? You have to follow the speed of 4. This is probably in kilometer per hour. Yeah, it's in kilometer per hour. Okay. And you have to manage reaching your meeting before in like 2 hours, right? 2 or less than 2 hours. Mostly it will be less than 2 hours, right? Okay. So what will happen is over here, suppose you are crossing this 1 kilometers at a speed of 4 kilometer per hour. So what is the duration? I mean, speed is equal to distance upon time. So time speed is equal to distance upon time. So time can be calculated. And um, okay, I'll take the example over here itself. So let's just say that you were traveling on a road and you took 1.4 hours, right? So this is a floating duration, right? What you're going to do is you will wait till the 2 hour mark. I mean, at the in the clock, let's say you're following the clock, and the clock says that you were able to cross the first road in 1.4 hours. You have to take a rest, right? You have to rest till this is no longer a floating duration; it's a integer duration, right? However, you are allowed to skip these rests, right? Let's say that you are in a huge amount of hurry, then you won't, I mean, wait for zero point 0.6 hours, just to, begin again from an integer mark. You can skip sometimes, right? So let's say that the first route that you were taking, it took you 1.4 hours to travel. And when you were on the second road, it took you zero point 0.6 hours. So what you will do is instead of, see what will happen. Let's say that you decided that you are not going to skip your rest. Your rest is very important to you. Okay. So what you did was, since the first road took 1.4 hours, so before you start walking on or running or whatever you are doing on the second road, you decide to wait zero point 0.6 hours, right? So instead of taking actually 1.4 hours, you're taking 2 hours over here. Then on the second road, we know that it's going to take you zero point 0.6 hours. And again, you're not going to skip your rest. Your rest is very, very, very important to you. And you wait another zero point 0.4 hours for this zero point 0.6 to convert itself to 1 hour, right? So here we took rest and traveled 2 hours, and here we took rest and basically traveled for an hour. So the complete duration for these two roads will become 3 hours, right? You could have saved 1 hour over there. How could you have saved that? You could have skipped your rest period, right? Let's say that the meeting is important to you and the rest is not so much. What you can do is you can just club this 1.4 and the zero point 0.6. Overall, it will take you 2 hours to travel these two roads, and you just saved 1 hour, right? So now you will say that meeting is very important to me. Why should I even take some rest? I'll continuously walk or run on whatever conveyance you're using to travel. But the question target is that return the minimum number of skips required to arrive the meeting on time. So obviously you can trade off resting periods and the hours before you have to reach your meeting, right? Uh, so let's say that it was only one. Let's say let's say this was zero point 0.4 and this was zero point 0.6, right? And hours before were 1. So there's no resting period for you, right? Because zero point 0.4 and zero point 0.6 will give you 1, and you had to reach before 1, so you were not allowed to take any rest. Suppose you had more hours in your hand, let's say 10 hours. Definitely, yeah, just go ahead and take some rest, right? So there's a trade-off, right? But our job is to return the minimum number of skips required. Skips actually over here refers to that you skipped your resting period, right? You can't always skip. Even if you have time, you can't always skip your resting period. The target of this question is to return, to reach your meeting as well as uh, skip minimum number of rests. Okay, and return -1 if such cases, this trade-off is actually impossible. Okay, so over here we have an example for this. I'll go to the whiteboard. I think enough verbal explanation has been given. Okay, let me take white. Okay, so you were given a distance array of 1, 3, 2. These are the distances of the 3 roads that you are going to travel on. Your speed is going to be 4, and hours before hours before going to be 2, right? You have to reach a meeting within 2 hours. Let me take the case where you are, where you decided I won't skip any rests, right? Uh, okay, let's not skip any rest. So, um, like I mentioned, speed is equal to distance upon time. So time taken is definitely distance upon speed. Basic thing, so basic that I'm going to rub it off. Now, so the first row, this was the time. Right? This is an integer time, obviously, and since you are not going to skip any rest, you are going to take each and every rest in this consideration. So you have to reach your integer mark of r, which will be gained if so this is your rest period and this is your traveling period. So since you were not skipping the rest, you were taking the rest, so I've added it over here. Next, you are traveling on 3 by 4th road, and yeah, so 1 by 4 is your resting period. Similarly, 2 by 4. And okay, since this is the last road, you won't take any rest, right? You have reached your destination once you cross this road. So this is an important point. Don't forget that when you reach the last road, there's no need to wait. Okay. Anyways, no need to rest. I'll skip to the word or terminology over here. No need to rest, right? And as you can see over here, they've calculated this for us. This will give you 2.5 hours, which is definitely more than your hours before, right? So somewhere, what we're going to do is we're going to skip the resting periods, right? So let's say I skip this resting period over here. So this will mean that I travel this road in 1 by 4 time, and the next road is going to take 3 by 4 time. So I can club these two basically over here and over here. I can club these two. And then this resting period will also disappear. This is disappearing, mind you. We are not skipping this. You don't need to skip it because what you're going to do is 1 by 4 plus 3 by 4. You'll travel the 2 roads in this time, and the last road will be traveled in 2 by 4, or you can say 1 by 2 time. And since this is 1 and this is 1 by 2, so 1 plus 1 by 2 will be 1.5. So when you decided not to skip, you were taking 2.5 hours, and you just decided to take skip one resting period, and you were able to cross your distance in 1.5 hours. So since 1.5 hours duration is definitely possible, and the number of rests that we skipped was 1. So yeah, the answer for this is possible, and this is the answer is 1, right? As explained in this output. Okay. So I hope at least the description, the problem statement, everything, and the example over here is very much clear to you, right? Okay. So let's say that you are on some, like you want to find the, okay, let's think recursively first. So you are on ith row and you are going on I plus 1th row, or I think to follow what I'm going to tell you in the next part of this video, let me maintain some terminology. I say that you are reaching on the ith road from some I minus 1th road. Okay, I think I should increase the boldness of the pen. Yeah, perfect. This is nice. So yeah, so you are reaching on your ith road by after traveling on some I minus 1th road. Okay, so obviously you have two choices to reach your ith road. either you skip your rest on the I minus 1th row, and let's say you did not skip your rest on the I minus after covering the duration of I minus 1th row. Okay. So let me say that when you were coming from I minus 1th row, you had skipped j times. Fine. So how will you calculate this current state? So this is very easy. Uh, um, or let me say this is not j. Yeah, okay. Let me say this is j, right? So when you decide and you are calculating the I minus jth state over here, right? Let me write the representation. I will represent the road index and j will represent the number of skips. Number of number of skips. Okay. So this I have written over here. Let me. Okay. Yeah, you're over here. So now for this particular state, uh, let's say that you skip rest and you were coming from I minus 1th. So you skipped your rest, which means that the current state will most likely be 1 plus the previous state, right? So if the previous state was 2 and you decided to skip the rest, then the current state will be 2 plus 1, which will be 3. So basically, when you're calculating the I comma jth state, you are actually coming from a state I minus 1, j minus 1 when you're deciding to skip the rest. Because j can only be achieved when the previous, see, since I'm saying you skip, right? And j is the number of skips. So if you were skipping 2 times at I minus 1 and you decided to skip again, so when you're reaching this current state, obviously it will be 2 plus 1, right? So if I'm talking about this state as j, this means that this current state was achieved when from the previous state the skips was j minus 1, right? And so this position I minus 1 j minus 1 will give you the duration, minimum duration that you the duration that you were traveling from on the I minus 1 road, and the new duration can be simply calculated using the state that you got from over here plus duration, right? And what is this duration? This duration will be distance I divided by what? Speed. Basic formula, so basic, I'm going to rub it off. Cool. Okay. So, do you get some advantage of expanding? Yeah, okay. I hope this much is clear. Now, the other option that you had over here with you was you did not skip. So it's simple. Since you did not skip, the previous state would have been the same as the next state, just that the road was sorry, just that the road was different. So this would be a state of I minus 1 comma j, and again you will add duration over here. So duration will be added over here itself, and let me refine this a little for you guys. I minus 1 comma j minus 1, the state that you got from here plus the duration that you are calculating for traveling on this current ith road. And this was, I wrote it before, distance I by speed. So basic, not going to write it again. Okay. So this was the recursive way of thinking it, right? So for each possibility, you are generating two cases. And what will the time complexity when you solve using this method? It will be 2 to the power n. Okay. And let us see the constraints, and 10 to the power 5. That's too much. That's too much, right? So obviously, just following recursion will not give you the answer. So what do we do when just following the recursion does not give us any answer? I hope everybody knows this. I rubbed everything off by mistake. I was not supposed to rub the above banner. No worries. So what I was saying, yeah, when we need to optimize our answer, which we're calculating from recursion, obviously we are going to use a GPU, right? So states would be the same. Let me discuss the states with you. Suppose you're calculating dpi j, where I is going to represent, um, what is I going to represent? I is representing the road. Sorry, I is representing your road. And what is j representing? J is representing your number of skips. So basically, when you are reaching ith road, j will be ranging from like 0 to the number of skips that you have taken. And for I, what if I took one skip? What is the duration that I'm getting? Let's say duration is represented by k. What is the duration when I am coming from the ith road and the number of skips taken by me is 2? That will again give you some state. And obviously, we want the minimum over here with us. So this was the I was the range of road, j was the range of skips, and the result that is going to give you is the duration. Some of you might have a doubt over here. Before I move forward, I don't know if you have that doubt, but I had that doubt, so I'll clear this up. Um, I faced this issue in the competition itself actually. So you would have taken this step also. Basically, number of roads, duration, and it is being achieved in j number of steps. What's the issue over here? The issue over here with us is that this k is usually going to be a floating pointer, is it not? Because we were getting floating pointers, 5 by 2 and 3 by 2, 7 by 2 over here, floating pointers. Not going to make much sense. Another thing, 10 to the power 7. Your time complexity would increase. Earlier taking the state ij is giving you 10 to the power 5 and 10 to the power 6, whereas taking ik is giving you 10 to the power 5 and 10 to the power 7. So you will say that this is just a single integer, but I am pretty sure you guys understand how much this small single integer can change and affect your answer. You can try this. This will give you a TLE. Like I got this TLE while I was giving this competition. Okay, no worries. Let's move forward. So we have finalized that we are going to take the I and Jx state, and I'll quickly write what they are representing again over here at the top. I is the road, and J is the number of steps that you have taken when you reach that road. Perfect. Okay, moving forward. So I think this you won't face much issue deciphering what I'm going to do next because I covered it up in the recursion part of this explanation. It's very simple. When you calculate in dpi minus jth state, simple. You have two options. Bad in writing. Sorry. So two options, right? One is skip, other is don't skip. So when you are, let's calculate the duration first itself. So that will be distance of I by speed. I'm gonna, write. I don't want to write this one. I'm going to write duration. So you guys know what the duration is. Plus, okay. So you have two options with you. One is when you skip. Other is when you did not skip. These are the two options, right? Skipped rest. I hope you don't forget that. Cool. And see, the point is when you are not skipping your rest, the point is that the time is actually in floating point duration. Is it not? I think I forgot to mention this earlier. So when you're not skipping your rest, you have to add this, time period over here with you. So in the example that I covered, the duration that you took was 1.1 by 4, but you decided to take a rest. So this 3 by 4 had to be added. Now you won't actually add this 3.4 or 3 by 4. What you can simply do is take ceiling or round it off to the next greater integer, right? So why did I use the word ceiling? It's that it's a pre-existing function, I guess, in C++, right? So basically, let me go to the whiteboard. Actually, this was not just a dpi minus 1j. This was basically this was basically ceiling. So this seal is actually a function in C++. I'm sure you can correspond with your own languages what how you're going to do this, but this is an important step. You will take ceiling of dp y minus 1 and right, and you obviously want what minimum, right? So Go ahead and take minimum over here. It's math.min in Java, min in C++, and min again in Python. I don't know the corresponding functions for ceiling. So this is a simple Google search that you guys can do on your own, right? So this is how you're going to create your DP. And this is what will give you the answer. And DP last position over here will give you your correct answer. For Python users, it can be simply DP of -1. Others will have to take out the size and size -1, right? C++ and Java. So size of the DP -1. Fine. So this was the thing over here. Now, base cases, right? What will you initialize your DP? Let me tell you what will you initialize your DP 0 and all your J's with. Also, what will you initialize your DP? I, all of I and zeros with, right? This is something that you need to initialize for you to run the for loop twice, like I mean for range of I and then for range of J and this then this formula basically. You still need to begin from somewhere, right? So you'll be beginning from the states where DP 0 and all the possible skips, DP all the possible roads and their zero skips, right? So let's quickly discuss what you're going to put over here. So let's consider this case over here, DP 0 and number of skips. What what was this dimension over here, guys? This was the number of roads, right? So I am basically saying there's no road, right? Zero number of roads. So what will be the answer? It will be zero. See, if you don't have any road, what is the point of skipping and not skipping? What is the point of doing this question? You don't have any road. How will you travel? Zero. This was very easy to understand. Okay. Tough part. So DPI 0. This means that you traveled ith row without any skip. Basically, you are traveling all your roads without any skip. This I is basically number of roads, right? So for that example where we had 2, 3, or was it 1, 3, 2? 213, whatever it was, right? So basically three roads, and I'm saying that you did not skip. You did not skip anywhere. So when you are not skipping anywhere, so basically what this will be, I 0 will be ceiling of using that same function dt I minus 1 and 0, since there were no skips, right? No skips at all, plus the duration. And the duration is obviously distance I divided by speed. So all your I comma zeros will be this, all your 0 comma j's will be 0. This is the, you can say, base case initialization where your DP will begin from. One thing I hope you guys must have noticed is that since we are calculating the next state from the I minus 1th state, if you run the ith loop from 0 till n, this won't work because -1 position is actually non-existent. So my advice, obviously, this is something very common. You must have done it thousands of times while you're doing your DP. You just convert it into one base indexing. So actually your roads are going to range from 1 comma n plus 1. And so I minus 1 will basically be 0. And what will be DP 0, 0? This you must have figured out from here itself, right? No need to, I don't think I need to elaborate this. You know what DP, all DP0Js are. So obviously you know what DP00 is. Still, in case you want me to write it over here for you guys, it's going to be obviously 0. Perfect. So I think we have covered everything. We have covered our current states. We have covered our base cases. We have covered that duration is distance upon speed. And we have discussed the two possible base case scenarios over here. We have discussed the two possible scenarios of skipping and not skipping. And obviously, since this is something very basic, still going to mention it over here since you are zoomed out a little. Yeah, since you are taking mains, I hope you know that you will initialize your entire DP with int max, right? Int maxes. So it's int max in Java. In Python, it's sys.maxsize. I am not sure if I remember for C++. Okay, so all this is covered, right? You still won't get the right answer when you have successfully, watched this hint video. Even if you watch this video 10 more times, you still haven't reached your answer. Another place that even I was stuck in the competition is that this they have this last test case. Uh, I don't remember were there 56 or 57 test cases, but whatever the number was, the last test case was actually pretty huge. What happened in that test case? You were given many roads, and all those roads had the distance of this, I guess, right? And it was being divided since this distance, and it was being divided by some this kind of number. I don't remember it 100% what this was. Okay. Anyways, let me just iterate what my point over here is actually. So in programming languages, what happens is 1 by 3 plus 2 by 3, ideally it should give you 1. But since you have converted this into floating points and this into floating points, and there's a limit to what your data type will be able to store, sometimes what happens is this addition is going to give you 1 point so many times, 0 and 1. I think this would be the range of that data type that you're going to use, and this 1 will sometimes come extra. No, I think 1 will only come. I don't think it will go beyond that one, right? So how to handle this case? Why do we need to handle this case? Let's understand this first. What if you were not skipping and this was a duration, and this the ceiling for this will actually give you 2, whereas you were supposed to reach 1. Now, I don't think there's a way that you can, take an if and else, and if this is happening, that 0 point so many zeros and 1 is coming, then I'll take I don't know, floor. I think it's called floor. Yeah, I'll take floor, and otherwise I'll take ceiling. The better way to do this is something that I discovered in the discuss section of this question itself, is that you take an epsilon, and every time you're trying to calculate your ceiling, you subtract this value that you are trying to find the ceiling of. Uh, you subtract epsilon from that value. So basically, what I'm saying is dp I minus 1 j minus epsilon, and take the ceiling for this. My weight and epsilon is going to be 10 to the power minus 9. So, see, what we are doing is you are basically preventing this case, the case of overflow of your 1 being changed to all these values, right? You're preventing this case. How? Since you subtracted this value, some shortening was done, and now when you're going to take ceiling, you'll get 1 itself. Um, Now your question might be, what if we reach below 0? Like you were trying to reach 1, that's why you subtracted epsilon. What happens when you reach below 0? Do you actually think that's possible? Epsilon is so small that I don't think it will matter. It will never matter. Suppose you were at some point which is 0.3333, and I can go on and on like this, and you subtracted 10 to the power minus 9 from this. Do you think you'll go below 0? Not a chance, right? So you won't go below 0, and you just saved yourself from the overflowing of this 1 by 3 plus 2 by 3, right? This is just a basic example, but I hope you can relate why it will happen everywhere else. So this was the major point, I guess, in this question. The last test case was not being cleared due to this thing. I think the problem setters set this very specifically to rule out those people who were not following this epsilon technique, right? Uh, so, okay, let me, I think this video has gone too long, so I'm just going to take 2 minutes more of your time, and I'm going to iterate the steps that we covered. So we discussed the recursion way, which was given the complexity of 2 to the power n. We understood that we need to optimize it using the DP, and DPI and jth state we were defining. From here we got skips and not skips. If the state of dpij is coming by some skip, then obviously it will be achieved by dpi minus 1 and j minus 1, right? Since we've decided to skip, since j was representing the number of skips, so j minus 1 plus 1 is actually given the current state j. So obviously we're going to take j minus I over here, right? And not skips, they were ceiling of dp I minus 1 and j. I hope you remember why we took ceiling, because if your duration is 1 by 3 and you decide to take rest, which means you're not skipping your rest. Then you have to add 2 by 3. You can't obviously expect yourself to add 2 by 3, so just take ceiling of 1. That will definitely give you this 1 by 3 plus 2 by 3. Cool. We discussed this, then we discussed the base cases. And the base cases for this DP kind of thing were of two types. One was DP 0 and all the J's, and other was DP I and all the zeros. So this basically represents that there is no road, answer 0. This basically represents that you decided not to skip any rest. You decided that your rest was paramount to you and you decided to take all the possible rests. And what was happening in that situation? DPI0 will be ceiling of DPI minus 1 0 plus duration, right? A very common thing that you guys do when you're making your DPs, since actually you are at some points calculating the j minus 1 and 9 minus 1 values, actually your DP will be DP ka size. DP's size will actually be n plus 1, and your roads will now range from 1 to n plus 1 instead of ranging from 0 to n, right? To prevent that 0 minus 1 equal to minus 1 thing. Okay, right. This also we discussed. And then the fifth point that we discussed was that this overflow of precision used to happen in the last is used to not, it is happening in the last test case. Why? Because in some in programming languages, 1 by 3 plus 2 by 3, this is rounded off separately due to the limit of the size of your data type. This is rounded off again due to the limit of the size of the data type, and this will result in an answer like dot 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 1. And we subtracted an epsilon value from this. Why did we do that? Because we wanted to reach the proper ceiling. Why did we want to reach the proper ceiling? Because if you take ceiling of 1.001, it will give you 2, whereas you wanted to reach 1. I think my quick recap worked for you guys. I've given you all the steps. I've explained all the steps. Um, this question was tough, no doubt, right? There were edge cases that a person might not be able to think of in first try. I was not able to think of it in the first try. Rewatch the same video if you want to. No restrictions. Try to solve this question, and this is one of the most mind blowing questions actually, right? Yeah, this was one of the a very mind blowing question that I've seen in the recent times. Just I My favorite point in this question was this over here. The reason I missed this test this question was for this, right? This overflow, I was not able to clear that last test case. So I hope now you guys will be able to clear that last test case. And what did we take the value of epsilon to be? We took the epsilon to be as 10 to the power minus 9. Okay, I hope this was enough for this video. If you need any more assistance, don't hesitate to put your to comment on this video, and just go and try this code once. Okay, thank you.